PNN-TV with the amazing Al Osorio, Kenny Harding Jr. Foundation.
Kelly Thomas, a homeless man, schizophrenic, beaten to death by Fullerton police. 2 officers were accused of, I think, second-degree murder. There's a horrible video. It's video and audio of the police beating him as he's literally crying out for his dad. He's calling out to God. He's calling out for his father, saying, "Daddy, Daddy." And long story short, the cops got off. He was ruled not guilty. I can hardly grasp how anyone who has any understanding of the police could give them essentially a pass. But there are people who see people of color, who would see the homeless of any color as the other, which needs to be driven from the community. So I know the people are going to be down there demonstrating Saturday at 10 o'clock in front of Fullerton Police Department. So I know people going down from Sacramento. If you're in the LA area, you should try to get out and support.
Okay. Anybody else have comments about Kelly Thomas? I do. Can you hold this for a second? I just want to say, when you are a person who's houseless and you present as a Western Eurocentric notion of mentally ill, and I really do articulate that I don't buy that as a notion of mental illness. As our indigenous people know, a lot of our folks who hear voices are hearing, our ancestors and hearing Creator. But anyway, Kelly Thomas was raised in white culture, and the way he was labeled, even by his own family, is mentally ill. And he resided on the street because of the demons that went through him, and because of the way that his family also tried but were unable to really hold him in their house. So he was houseless. And the Fullerton Police Department, police as we say it, or actually not only killed him that horrible day, but had been bullying him up to that time. They actually used him as a butt of jokes. And so that there was this culture of hate and disrespect that had already informed that day. So in a large, really horrible way, that day wasn't even a surprise. He was their guy to fuck with. And on that day, they just didn't stop. And in the past, they had. And he had begged and pleaded. If you watch the video, it's just like with Ernesto Dueñas, Ashe, Kenny Harding, all of our brothers and sisters killed by these agents of the state, right? They're begging. This brother begged and screamed for hours, and they kept it up. That's the way our peoples are treated. So as a person who was houseless with my mom on the street and also lived with this so-called skin privilege, because I am the melanin-challenged daughter of a strong black Indian mama, I was brutalized by the cops in Oakland. They threw me up against the wall. And they said to me, in the process of throwing me up against the wall at one point, when I was only 15, living in the car with my mom, well, you ain't nothing, you just living in your car. So they walk with that same culture of shame and hate that we walk with. So I just want to be clear. If you fellow folks out there in poverty and in consciousness, other indigenous and African and indigenous peoples, you have to understand, first of all, we got to decolonize ourselves off this shame. This shame about poverty, this shame about homelessness, this idea that somehow we're different if we have a roof or we don't, if we walk hearing voices or we don't. We need to take ourselves out of these ideas because these cops are just products of us too. Let's be real. Because we walk with that same shame. Okay? Power to the people. Ashe, Kelly Thomas. Okay, drop this out and then start again because...